with Frankie Corrado. 3 wins down, 3 to go for Team Canada. So let's take a look at their path to gold, starting with the quarterfinal. They're going to play one of Czechia or Denmark. Canada shut Czechia out in the preliminary rounds, and the Danes gave Team USA a bit of a rough time. Who would the Canadians rather face in the quarterfinals, Frankie?
Now, normally I would say this is an easy question, Denmark. But then we have to flash back to what happened last year at the Men's Worlds in the quarterfinals, where Canada, featuring Sidney Crosby, Macklin Celebrini, they lost to the Danes. So you can't just dismiss this question and say it's a complete throwaway, you'd want to play Denmark. But with that being said, let's face facts. The Czechs are a better team. Martin Necas, David Pastrnak, Thomas Hertl. It's a top-heavy team, no different than Denmark, but the Czechs top-heavy is better than the Danes top-heavy, and the Czechs would have better goaltending than the Danes. So yes, it's a long way of saying you would like to play Denmark, but we can't forget what happened last year. It was a miracle at the Men's Worlds. It would have to be a miracle times 10 if it were Denmark to knock off Team Canada this time around, but I guess you just never say never.
Frankie, something we should point out, teams get reseeded after the quarters going into the semis. So if the Swedes upset the Americans in the quarters, they can end up facing Canada in the Final Four. If that happened, they could really be a tough opponent for Canada in a one-game elimination. How do you think Canada would stack up against the Swedes, Frankie?
Listen, Canada stacks up well against everybody. The thing with the Swedes is their blue line, it's better. They've had some questionable goaltending at times. And the Swedes don't have the depth that Canada has down the middle of the ice. Their strength up front is on the wing. So for Canada, that's your matchup that you're easily going to win. Down the middle of the ice, how can you control the game? Canada will have more pace. Canada will have more speed. They will have to get through Sweden's D-core, which is one of the best, if not the best in the entire tournament. That's the challenge for Team Canada. The other thing that Sweden doesn't necessarily have going for them, weird coaching decisions. We're seeing weird deployment from some great players like Oliver Ekman-Larsson or Philip Forsberg or Jesper Bratt. It feels weird with what Sweden has done with some of the deployment of their players. Clearly, you would give the edge to Canada, but that's the tail of the tape between the two teams.
Okay, let's keep playing the what-if game and project right through to the final now. Team USA and Slovakia are the second and third highest seeds behind Canada. What's your dream final, though, Frankie? Would you rather face the lower-ranked Slovaks, or do you want a Canada-USA gold medal final?
Gino, it's not that I want a Canada-USA final. It's that the hockey world needs a Canada-USA final. We've been talking about the Olympics for years. We finally got best on best last year, and Canada versus America, it was an instant classic. Now to get it a year later at the Milano Olympics, that's all anyone could ask for. And when you look at the way these two teams match up, it looks to me that the Americans picked their team and are deploying their team with the Canadians in mind. How do we beat Canada? It's like they've thought of that already, knowing that they could get to a final situation and play against Team Canada. I'm not sure it holds up the way they want to play. I'm not sure they can check Canada into the ground and keep them off the score sheet, but that's why we need to see Canada versus USA in the finals of the Olympics.
Would be awesome. How's this for delivering the most when it matters the most? The top 6 scorers of the tournament are all former first overall picks: McDavid, Celebrini, Slafkovsky, Crosby, Matthews, and McKinnon.